With Durk's legal team preparing to file a motion to dismiss, it seemed like the case might finally be winding down, but that changed fast. Breaking developments reveal that over 230 GB of raw footage and audio recordings have surfaced, some of which allegedly link Durk to a second murder-for-hire plot. If proven true, this new charge could take his potential sentence from life behind bars to facing the death penalty. The evidence is reportedly so damning that even cooperating with I
feel like even if he snitch, he can't get up out of it.
What secrets do these new revelations hold? Is the evidence actually solid? And the biggest question of all, could Lil Durk be facing the death penalty? Let's break it down. For those out of the loop, Lil Durk, real name Durk Derek Banks, was arrested in October 2024 in Florida on serious federal charges tied to an alleged murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo. But things escalated during a detention hearing on December 12, 2024, when prosecutors dropped a bombshell. Durk is now also linked to a second murder-for-hire case in Chicago. That case revolves around the January 27, 2022 killing of 24-year-old Stefan Mack, said to be a key figure in the Smashville faction of the Gangster Disciples. Mack was gunned down outside the Roseland Youth Peace Center on 111th Street, a so-called safe space in one of Chicago's roughest areas. He took bullets to the head and chest and died at the hospital. A 40-year-old security guard was also hit, but survived. In 2023, two Chicago men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell, were charged with conspiracy in Mack's murder. The big mystery? Who paid for the hit? According to newly unsealed federal documents, prosecutors believe the money trail leads back to Durk. The feds say the motive was revenge for the killing of Durk's brother, D-Thang, Dante Banks, who was shot and killed outside Club O in Harvey, Illinois in June 2021. An FBI warrant application unsealed just one day before Durk's December 2024 detention hearing claims that after D-Thang's murder, Durk began offering money to anyone willing to kill those responsible. More specifically, he allegedly offered cash for any Gangster Disciple hit, especially those tied to Smashville, the faction suspected of killing his brother. Mack, said to have connections to Smashville, became a target. The feds claimed to have serious evidence: text messages discussing payments, statements from confidential informants, phone data showing links between Durk and the suspected shooters, and social media posts including one that asked, "Did Durk give you that money?" Prosecutors are treating this as proof of a payoff. Adding more fuel to the fire, the FBI is also pointing to lyrics from Durk's 2022 track, Aha, where he raps, "My brother D-Thang just got killed and I've been slow since my nuts gang gang, but we got back on they ass. I bet they know this." The feds believe this is a coded admission of retaliation, possibly referencing Mack's murder, just like in the LA case where his lyrics are being treated as evidence too. The culture is watching closely, and not just because of the charges. There's growing concern about how courts are twisting artistic expression into evidence. One of the FBI's latest claims is that they have photos showing Lil Durk with Anthony Montgomery Wilson, one of the alleged shooters in the Stefan Mack case, suggesting a direct connection. However, the exact content of these photos hasn't been released publicly. What's key here is that as of April 27, 2025, Durk has not been formally charged in connection with Mack's murder. According to the Chicago Tribune and other outlets, the investigation remains active, but no indictment has dropped. That's why Durk's legal team, led by attorney Jonathan Brayman, is pushing back hard. At Durk's December 2024 detention hearing in LA, Brayman flatly denied his client's involvement, saying, "That's other people. Our client has nothing to do with that." The defense argues that prosecutors are bringing up these uncharged allegations just to paint Durk in a worse light in the Los Angeles case, not because they actually have a case in Chicago. Still, the accusations have had real consequences. Assistant U.S. Attorney Ian Yanilu used the Chicago allegations to argue that Durk shows a pattern of violent behavior, pointing to both the Mack case and the alleged bounty placed on others. U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue agreed and denied Durk's $3 million bond request, meaning he'll stay behind bars while awaiting trial. Legal experts are now questioning whether it's ethical or even constitutional to use uncharged conduct like this in pretrial proceedings. While not illegal, this strategy can heavily influence how a judge views a defendant, stacking the deck before trial even begins. What's more, The Mac case, beyond its connection to Durk, shines a light on the ongoing gang violence gripping Chicago. The Gangster Disciples, a major player in the city's street wars, operate through multiple subsets like Smashville, creating both internal and external beefs. Mac was allegedly tied to Smashville, and Durk's brother D-Thang was reportedly killed by that same faction. The fact that Mac was shot and killed outside a youth peace center adds a layer of bitter irony violence, reaching into even the spaces designed to keep communities safe. Prosecutors claim Durk's label and crew blur the line between music and organized crime. If the feds can convince a jury that Durk orchestrated Mac's murder in January 2022 as revenge for D-Thang, it strengthens their argument that he later plotted to take out Quando Rondo in August 2022 as payback for King Von's death. But again, and this can't be overstated, Durk hasn't been charged in the Mac case. He remains innocent until proven guilty. Much of the evidence cited, like texts, informant tips, and social media, is still largely circumstantial. The public hasn't seen the full context of the messages, nor can we verify the credibility of the informants. Even more controversial is the use of rap lyrics as courtroom evidence. Critics argue that prosecutors often misinterpret hyperbolic or fictional bars as literal confessions, a tactic that disproportionately targets hip-hop artists, especially those in the drill scene, where violent imagery is part of the art form, not a diary of real crimes, and that tension between art and criminality, image and reality, is at the center of Durk's legal nightmare. To understand how we got here, we have to rewind to where it all started, the first murder-for-hire case in Los Angeles and the bombshell that followed. A closer look at Lil Durk's federal case, the motion, the charges, and the fallow. Lil Durk's legal team recently filed a motion challenging the integrity of the case against him, arguing that key evidence presented by prosecutors is demonstrably false. The motion signals a bold attempt to dismantle what's become one of the most high-profile federal investigations involving a hip-hop artist in recent years. Known for his emotionally raw lyrics and street-rooted authenticity, Lil Durk, real name Durk Banks, rose from Chicago's South Side to global rap prominence. But while his music tells stories of pain, survival, and the streets, prosecutors now allege that his ties to real-life violence run far deeper than lyrics. The recent federal indictment paints a picture that reads more like a Hollywood thriller than a rap career. The trouble began brewing as far back as 2020, when tensions escalated between Durk's collective, Only the Family, OTF, and rival factions. The feud intensified following the murder of Devin Bennett, better known as King, Von, a key OTF artist and Durk's close friend. Von's death sparked a public vendetta with rapper Quando Rondo, who was rumored to be connected to Von's suspected killer. According to federal prosecutors, this beef crossed the line from diss tracks to deadly intent. They allege Durk placed a bounty on Quando Rondo's head, determined to settle the score by any means necessary. That alleged bounty, authorities say, triggered a chain reaction that led to a violent ambush on August 19, 2022. That evening, chaos erupted at a gas station near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles. 3 masked gunmen opened fire on a black Cadillac Escalade carrying Quando Rondo and members of his family. While Quando escaped with his life, his cousin, identified in court records as Savia Lulu Pau Robinson, was killed in the barrage of bullets. Investigators recovered 18 shell casings from the scene, underscoring the ferocity of the attack. Durk's name emerged quickly as a central figure in what law enforcement determined was no random act. Surveillance, digital records, and financial evidence allegedly tie the hit to a carefully premeditated plot. Investigators claim that several OTF associates labeled in court as co-conspirators 2 and 3 traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles just one day before the attack, with flights paid for using an American Express card linked to Durk and his label. Text messages reportedly recovered by authorities include one from Durk to co-conspirator 3, warning, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with sick memi," a phrase prosecutors interpret as an effort to cover their tracks. Further surveillance footage allegedly shows 2 white vehicles, a BMW and an Infiniti, tailing Quando Rondo's Escalade through LA. Prosecutors say those vehicles were rented or operated by the same co-conspirators flown in for the hit. As the investigation ramped up, law enforcement zeroed in on Durk and his circle. On October 24, 2024, a coordinated federal sweep led to the arrests of 5 alleged OTF affiliates: Kavin Grant, DeAndre Dantrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston. Each was charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. But the feds weren't done yet. As the case expanded, agents uncovered more communications